Had a chance to meet with our leadership council of our players. Talking about the game, reflecting on that. That's not our football. And, just kind of had that conversation about, the run game, playing it well with discipline, the tackling, the things that showed up there, and of course, taking care of the ball on the flip side of it offensively. Thought the special teams unit performed well, covered, got a couple of decent returns, and really played hard, but didn't show up for us offensively and defensively. And now the challenge for us is to return to the football that led to success, which is stopping the run first and foremost, getting our run game going, and then taking care of the ball so that we can get back and return to that the version of football we want to play.
We'll start things off with Mike Kay, followed by Jeff Hawkins.
Hey, Dave. Can you give us an update on Bryce as well as Cade Mays and Taylor Moden?
Yeah, so with Bryce, just getting better every day. Had a good session running today and return to play. And the goal is to get him out there on Wednesday, move him around and see if we can get him into practice in a mode. So I'm optimistic that he'll be out there, but we're going to take it day to day with him. Let's see, Taylor and the rest of the guys will give the injury report on Wednesday.
And then wanted to ask you, there's been a stark difference in production between Rico and Chuba over the last 2 weeks. How has that changed your outlook on this rotation, and what have you noticed about why that is?
Yeah, it's a fair observation, and Chuba's meant a lot to this organization, certainly to the identity that we wanted to build our team on, and wanted to give Chuba the opportunity to go out there and to continue to impact our team in a positive way. We cannot ignore the fact that Rico has been exceptional, in a couple of games, and then in the opportunities he's had over the last 2 weeks, he's made some excellent plays. Love the tempo and violence that he's running with, and these are all things that we're talking about and working through this week as we look back, on these last 4 games and really taking a snapshot of what's been successful for us. These are conversations that we do definitely have to have.
Just making sure you're done, Mike. Yeah, good. Hey, morning, Coach. I just wanted to take a quick look at that offensive line, and it's constantly changing personnel with injuries piling up. Are you confident with the replacements that you can develop consistency and continuity from this unit?
This is a challenge, and Chandler Zavala's window will open up this week, so we'll have a chance to get him on the field to evaluate him. We certainly could use his help right now, especially with Brady going down. Evaluate Taylor Moten to see where he's at this week. Yash stepped in and finished the game for us, so if it's not Timo, we're counting on Yash to step in that role, and then just thought Corbett, did an excellent job stepping in. We'll count on him again. Nick Samak, who we haven't seen get action at center, could be another option in the interior of our offensive line. And then we have a couple of guys on the practice squad that have been around us, have been hearing our words, that we'll be able to look at if we need them to.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about Brandon Walton. I believe he's been up 3 times already. Any chance of signing him this week, or should he, Charles? Do you expect him to get a chance?
Yeah, those are our options. Those are the guys that we're talking to and looking at right now. So we'll make that decision as the week goes on once we know where everyone's at.
Yeah, thanks, Coach.
Yep.
David Newton, followed by Joe Person.
Hey, Coach, can you expand a little bit on what you were talking about, Rico and Chuba? You were highly praising Rico. Does that mean you're considering going back to maybe more a heavy load for Rico and just changing up the way you're doing things?
That's something we're looking at. And, again, have to respect the job that Chuba has done for us, and to get us to the point where we've established a mentality about how we run. And we cannot ignore the fact that Rico has made an impact when he's been out there. So these are things that we're talking through as a staff, and we'll make that decision as the week goes on.
And when you looked at what happened after the game a little bit with the skirmish out there, what was your take? I know you said yesterday emotions were high. I think you were talking specifically about, one of the players slamming his helmet, but a lot more was going on out there. What did you think when you saw the video, and any kind of action from your end on what will happen there?
Just disappointment. Really, the guys feeling disappointment, feeling frustrated in the moment, and we'll handle all the other stuff in-house.
Thank you.
Hey, Dave. Good to see you.
Hey, Jay.
Kind of following up on the running backs. You mentioned that this is kind of a delicate situation given Chuba's standing in the locker room and your respect for him. Is there kind of a scenario? Is there a way where you can keep everyone happy and satisfied and still maybe give Rico the lion's share?
Yeah, I mean, that's not the goal, right, Joe? The goal is to make sure that we put the right guys out there. That's my job. And so I really do have to look at that and evaluate it and make the best decision for the Panthers collectively. And, you know, it's for me, I have to make sure that I keep it about the football. At the same time, you know, I've had a good amount of experience with Chuba, and I've seen Chuba at his best. And now we've seen Rico at his best. And so, you know, I have to make sure we have the right conversations all together and move forward.
How will your experience with Bryce and Andy, with doing you know that decision you made last year with Bryce, how will that help inform you with this situation?
You talking specifically about the quarterback situation or with Chuba and Rico?
Yeah, I mean, you did not go into the quarterback benching lightly, and you were,
Gotcha.
I think, very sensitive to Andy and the whole dynamic. I just
Yeah.
wondered if that will benefit you in your handling of this.
Yeah, I'll agree, Joe. Those types of decisions prepare me more and more for how to handle it and how to make the right decision. And, you know, at the end of the day, we have to talk as a staff and we have to make sure we're making the best step going forward. So, but all those conversations and all those decisions, they really do help kind of guide, you know, what's at the heart of it. The heart of it is winning games and putting our best foot forward. And so that's the decision ultimately that we'll do.
Thanks.
Cass?
Hey, Dave, how's it going?
Hey, Cass.
You mentioned meeting with your leadership group this morning. I'm curious, like, what does that look like now throughout the week? Like, is that a message that they now take back to the locker room? Is it just kind of like what is the results of a meeting like that?
Yeah, so 4 weeks ago, we had the same meeting. We had one at the beginning of the year, got four games in, and then regrouped. And it's a great leadership group. The guys understand that it's the work and it's the process that have led to the success. So we sit in the room today with 4 games behind us, 3-1, some great football, great process. What we're asking them to get out of each day, our Wednesday through Saturday, showing up on Sunday and playing good technically sound football. Those are the principles that are going to get us back to playing our type of ball. And it was a much better conversation after 4 weeks, looking at what we've done and saying, what led to this? Well, it's fundamentals. It's the attention to detail throughout the week. And then it's on Sunday, showing up with everything you have and making sure those things carry over. And so that's the confidence I have in this group to continue to affect the rest of their teammates in a positive way. Here's how we go about this. We get right back to work. We make it about the basics, and we crush every day.
Alex Zitlow, followed by David Newton.
Yeah, Dave, I was going to ask something along those same lines, and I was hoping you could expound on it. So, is it fair to say that this Monday looks similar to the Monday after the Patriots game, preceding the 3-game win streak?
Yes, it does, and unfortunately, it's in that same mode of a game that really got out of hand on us. A lot of humility in that room. Certainly, a group that's been growing in confidence based on how we've been playing and how we've been preparing. And now, what's great about it, Alex, is that we get to go into that same room with a similar type of result from the day before, and really feel the urgency of what it takes to stop the run collectively on the defense and offensively to get our run game going, and also to take care of the ball to lead to the success that we've had. So very eerily similar in that regard. And I'm hoping for the same result. So the guys come back together, regroup, and we get back to some really good football.
And is there a belief that perhaps wasn't there 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, or was that belief always there?
No, it definitely, there was a shift. You know, early in the season, even from our veteran players in our group, a lot of them were new to this team and new to this group. It's a team that's grown together. It's a team that's found ways to win in different phases. And going into this meeting today, there's a sense of an identity. There's a sense of what we look like at our best. And we understand what we're getting after and what's required of it. So there is a confidence that's growing and a knowing of who we are and what our identity can be at its best.
Back to me, I think. Can you share who's on the leadership group?
It's a good group. It's our captains, and then there are a bunch of other veterans. I don't want to go through the whole list of guys, but most of the guys have a couple of years in the league and have been a few of them have been around different places, and so it's an opportunity for us to also draw from the places they've been and things that they've seen, successes they've had that really affects this group.
And is a situation like what you're dealing with the running backs and whether to switch things up again, is that something you discussed with them? Just kind of get a feel for what they think on that? Was that part of the meeting?
It is not.
Okay, personnel just strictly you keep that to the coaches then?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And one more thing on that. How is Chuba handling what you guys, I assume you've already talked to him, but how is Chuba handling possibly going to a lesser role?
Well, that's not something we've discussed with them right now. This will be something that we'll talk to them about, whatever we decide, and I'll make sure that I present it. I always try to make sure I talk to the players one-on-one and make sure that they know what the plan is going forward, and I'll do that again.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you.
We have time for a couple more. We'll go with John Ellis, followed by Joe Person.
Dave, how are you, sir?
Hey, good. How are you?
Good, man. You've been around this league a long time with some playoff teams. Obviously, Seattle comes to mind. Tampa comes to mind a couple of years ago. How vital is it when you get to this part of the year that you talk about that leadership committee to have a guy like Derek Brown, J.C. Horn, particularly on defense, when you go through these moments of, let's say, temporary regression? I would assume those are the two guys among you, others on that defense you're leaning on right now to be the voice of strength.
Yeah, it's important for the coaches as well as the players, people who have been around teams that have become something and made playoff, appearances, and for a bunch of us on staff who've actually been in Super Bowls, and to look at the commonalities of the team identity and the culture that's set. It's this daily pursuit of excellence. It's we understand the marathon of the season and how long this season is, and there are injuries, and we have to adjust, and we count on new people to step in. But it's the same principles that show up. It starts with taking care of the ball. It's great fundamental football. It's great situational decisions and mastery in different situations, and it's about coming back to work every Wednesday, ready to improve, ready to dive deeper into our schemes and our concepts. It's not about adding more. It's not about making up new things, but it's about drilling in on the things that we're good at to make sure that we troubleshoot things that are showing up or things that might need to be tightened up. It's these constant tweaks, these micro adjustments within the things that we believe in that will lead to success. And we're going to rely on and count on the leadership group and some of the veterans to keep pounding the drum and to keep being my sounding board for what it takes to build that consistency and to just keep improving. The best teams continue to improve throughout the season, and there may be lapses, but you got to get back on track and keep pushing your football forward, and that's got to be the mentality.
Dave, one more question. Trevon Merrick, tone-setting safety that can do a lot of things, and I don't know if this has been brought up earlier on the call, but can you explain in a few words what he means to your defense in terms of playing the back end, but also coming down low and servicing the run game?
Yeah, he's got an attacking mindset, and he's also very versatile. Being able to play the edge, on run game, pass game, whatever that might be. He gets matched up on receivers at times too, and has to maintain his leverage, but it's his energy. It's a daily thing for Trey. He loves football. He loves to be out there on the field. He loves talking to his guys, working through the issues. He's got a great personality, big smile on his face, just loves being on the grass. When he has an opportunity to make a play, he usually shows up with a lot of anger and a lot of aggression, which is a big contrast to to the personality that you meet on a daily basis. But he really loves it. He brings a joy for football out there for his teammates.
Thank you, Dave.
Yep.
Hey, Dave, I have two more and they're unrelated, so I'll just ask the first one. Did you feel like you got away from the run game too quickly yesterday?
I didn't. I felt like we were in a different mode. And while I would love to have ran our way back into the game similar to the Dolphins game, it felt like a different mode, especially with the turnovers and then the score started getting out of hand. We did need to shift gears a little bit offensively, and would love to have had more success just in the normal flow of the game with our run game early on. And I thought the Bills did a good job of playing it well, and they certainly improved and took advantage of their bye week and their self-scout and some of the things that they were struggling with. They performed really well with yesterday.
And did Andy check into that tunnel screen that got picked off?
Yes, he did. And, the end just played it perfectly. He stayed up the field. He didn't chase, kept his eyes up, and knocked the ball back to himself.
There's been some speculation that Shaq picked up on that check and let the film shows him yelling to that. And did you think that was the case, that Shaq had it?
It could be, certainly could be, and it's wise of all of us to use whatever information that we have. And Shaq was here, and I'm sure we ran, our screen against Shaq a bunch of different times while he was here in training camp last year. So if that was something that they picked up on, then that's excellent execution by the Bills.
Thanks.
All right, Coach. Thank you so much for taking the time.
All right, thank you.